I'm Leon, and today we'll be reviewing the Air Warriors Easy Fire, a pretty weird priming blaster that honestly has some charm to it. Let's take a look. The Air Warriors Easy Fire is a lever action? Top prime? I'm not too sure. But what I can tell you is it's a spring blaster, so you can go ahead and prime and fire, and it goes ahead and actuates a spring. I can certainly tell you that. The priming mechanism itself has certainly got some merit to it, and I guess we'll start there, since that's kind of the thing you see with the Easy Fire, and you go, oh, that's interesting, or oh, that looks really stupid. Kind of one of those two ballparks with very little in the middle. Truthfully, though, if you are into this kind of thing, the prime is exceptionally smooth. I would certainly compare it to the likes of the Rough Cut and the Twin Shot for just how smooth this one feels. In truth, it is pretty comfortable, and I quite like it, even though it's a little weird. The priming handle itself is everything you see here. It goes all the way back here to Chamber of Dart, and then you go ahead and you prime forward. Within the priming handle itself, it's got a nice little crosshair to it. While I certainly do wish that wasn't there, because I'd prefer to just see, it does actually provide you a 2-point iron sight with the front sight that you can see here, which, that's pretty cool. The Air Warriors Easy Fire doesn't really have any sort of attachment points apart from the one in the back, which is going to be an end strike attachment point for your end strike stocks. And it is compatible with many of those. This is the regulator stock on it, and it is my preferred way to run the Easy Fire, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So, what does this blaster come with? Well, it comes with the stock, the blaster, this magazine, and the other magazine. There are 2 mags in this thing. Man, does Air Warriors always provide something, just that little bit of extra something to just make their blasters worth it. 2 mags in this. I remember the Eradicator comes with, it came with 3 mags. I think the Exterminator, the re-release of it, comes with 2, but that's okay. 2 mags. And these aren't like the normal Air Warriors cheap kind of mags that feel really sloppy to reload. These are really good. Like, really, really good. These are comparable to even Nerf's kind of style. They certainly are a little cheaper than your mainline Nerf magazines, but they're great. I find them to have a little bit more of a reliable spring to them, and I'd even go as far to say that they're comparable to Workers magazines. Definitely the build quality on the Workers is more high quality than you would expect, but these are great. They've got a good spring to them, and they say they hold 14, but I've had very extreme cases where you can get 17 in it, and the Easy Fire still feeds pretty reliably. In truth, I like to load these with 15. And you'll notice these at the top. It is no secret that many people hate the long-distance darts. These are not long-distance darts. These are Air Warriors' kind of answer to the ever-flowing stream of Wafflehead darts. These are their Wafflehead darts. These are fantastic. Air Warriors, if you're somehow watching this video, please release these 100 in a $5 pack, and I will happily buy them. These are fantastic darts. They're in my rotation because they came with the Easy Fire, and they're super reliable on top of sort of everything that you can see. I am a big fan of these, and I'm so happy that they included them. To load, you're just going to go ahead and load your magazine, pull back your priming handle, press on the mag release, and then go ahead and load in your mag. Go ahead and fire. When it fires hard. However, that first shot sounded a lot harder than the other 2, didn't it? We'll get into that during my critique section, but this thing does have a pretty notable inconsistency problem. There's no jam door on the blaster, so if you're jammed, sort of the answer is the priming handle actually doesn't have a lock to it, so you can go ahead and pull back, clear your jam from the mag well itself. So you can go ahead and pull back, go ahead and clear there, and then go ahead and reload. As long as you don't push the priming handle all the way back, you can go ahead and just push this forward, and it should be okay. That's typically fine for me, but if you really want to play it safe, let's just say I'm jammed right here, pull back the priming handle, unload the mag, fire, clear your chamber, clear your jam, and then reload. That's the safest way you can do it, but the Easy Fire is very forgiving in the fact that you can just pull this back. Even during the prime cycle. There's no lock on this whatsoever. So if you're jammed at any point during the priming stage, you are completely fine to pull back all the way and remove the mag. Very forgiving mechanism. But apart from that, well, what else is there really to talk about? Not too much. Trigger feels fine. Grip is immaculate. Air Warriors has finally started designing things for humans instead of whatever they were doing before. So this is good. I find this grip exceedingly comfortable. Length of pull feels pretty satisfying. That's this distance, if you're wondering what that means. And I find it to be very comfortable. The mag release is another thing that they did an excellent job with. It's a nice little paddle mag release, so it definitely does your nice little thumb reloads well. I can't extend my finger comfortably long enough to do the M4 style reload, but truthfully, I'm perfectly okay with that. It is going to take a little bit of getting used to because this mag release does sit decently far. That's to kind of accommodate like a whole bunch of mags. But once you get it, you'll know it's there and you'll feel very, very good about it. The mag well itself is pretty smooth. I wouldn't really head on it straight on because of the sort of curvature to it. I always like to reload the easy fire like this and then push in the mag. But personal preference, at the end of the day, you'll end up learning something for this blaster too that you'll quite like. But that's all I can really talk about. So let's go ahead and see it attempt to fire. Shooting the included Air Warriors darts. Switching to Dart Zone Chili Darts in a Nerf magazine. Well, the firing footage speaks for itself. And I would absolutely love to say that everything was fantastic. But I can't. Because the inconsistency bug has hit my easy fire hard. But before I kind of tear into that, I'd like to bring up two other critiques I have with the blaster. First is the included stock. The included stock, you can see, does extend. However, I wouldn't recommend it. It does not take a lot of force to slam this thing in. In fact, let me see if I can get... That was not a hard hit. I'm even delaying myself. And you can see that it's not a hard hit to get this thing to collapse. I don't really like that on a blaster where I want to shoulder to prime it. I find that a little disheartening, truthfully. And I do wish that that was improved upon. However, for the price point of this blaster, I can forgive that. I can also forgive this other issue that it is certainly having, which is the seam along the top. You can see that mine is trying to come apart, and you'll see some close-up footage of that now. You can see it's trying to come apart. This isn't really an issue with just Air Warriors. In fact, X-Shot blasters feel the cheapest out of anything I've ever held. This one definitely feels a little more robust than that, but I really wish this issue wasn't here because it's a little tough to sort of justify that. In truth, this thing has seen a little bit of Nerf wars, and that's sort of the only visual damage I can certainly see. So that's okay, you know. I can certainly forgive that because this is a $20 blaster. What I cannot forgive is the inconsistency of the firing. I really, really, really wanted this one to be good. And when it fires, it is good. A trick to kind of avoid that is to use relatively new darts. However, that can be an expensive upkeep. The Air Warriors darts I showed off earlier before I shot them were in fact used in at least 2 Nerf wars, maybe 3. But they were almost brand new in quality. You could still see the fact that they were barely used. But that is a shame. because if this thing wasn't inconsistent, this would be another slam dunk recommendation for me. I can forgive this. I can forgive this. I can't forgive that. However, let's talk price points real quick, because I can still recommend it safely at certain price points. $20 feels fine if it fired all the time the perfect way. But it doesn't. At least mine doesn't. This issue did not happen until maybe the second Nerf war I tested it in. This isn't like a huge thing. Even when it didn't fire, I was certainly kind of puzzled during the game, let's say. But it didn't really ruin the experience for me. Because of that, I can still recommend you pick up this blaster at the $15 to $10 mark. And if it happens to be on sale by the time you're watching this review, still in store at Target, you might see it for as low as $10. $10, this is a slam dunk, go get it. You can forgive that because you can definitely open it up and tinker with it. And not to mention, at the $10 price tag, you're not paying for any of this. You're paying for the 2 great magazines, $5 a piece. I'm okay with that. 2 great magazines at $5 a piece, fantastic. Go get this for $10. For $15, that basically means you're getting 2 great mags, and you're paying $5 for the blaster. Fine. At $20, you're paying $5 for the mags and the darts, and you're paying $10 for the blaster. Okay. But at that point, I would kind of expect some consistency. At that price point sits the Air Warriors Predator, a blaster that has been consistent for more than 2 years. So I would certainly want to see some consistency with this blaster at the $20 price point. Truth be told, this isn't going to be like a no. This is going to be a wait for a sale kind of a recommendation. But anyways, that concludes my video review on the Air Warriors Easy Fire. I hope you found this review informative and definitely helps you with your purchase decisions. At least I hope I do. As always, take it easy.